So Gunrunners versus eSuba here. Gunrunners going to be defending eSuba on the attack. And just like the intro said, tank destroyers with big guns run the show here.
Pretty much. No weapons though, but there is interesting development here. E100s are not going toward the hill, so as we suspected, eSuba might try the ruse here and try to trick Gunrunners. While Gunrunners are actually expecting it, and they said send majority of their forces there, even 1390 aggressively spotting the hill, FVTDs lining themselves up. This can be quite devastating.
Yeah, indeed, but Danny already got spotted out there in the FETD by Tomasek in that 1390. And Mojo, this is the thing I asked you about in the beginning. Gunrunners, they're not going to go for that 129 defense, are they?
No, they sent only Ondrex to spot. Kranwagen is safely back in a hangar to support him as well as he can from there, because that gun is not the best sniper in the game, as we know it. But really super defensive lineup here from Gunrunners, but they're making sure that that 2 cap is really tightly watched. While eSuba at the moment is gathering most of their forces ready to push the 8 line. They're just watching with the mediums and light tanks to see exact position of FVTDs, because they do not really want to get shot while they're driving the banana street.
You can see there eSuba very carefully approaching this one as Froly and Enrico spot each other out on that 0 line. They obviously don't want to drive head first into a waiting TD, because that is certain that they're now grouping up, massing up, moving through the 8 line with the I-7 up front and the 2 E100s. Obviously, if any sneaky FVTD is waiting around the corner, those are the tanks you want to have in front.
Where slowly and steadily they're checking out the corners, but the engagement will start soon. And honestly, at the moment, it looks much better for eSuba, since I have a feeling Gunrunners are putting all of their cars that actually eSuba is coming from the 0 line, from the hill.
See here, eSuba now going for a split. Andrew and Pratelicek in the 50Bs just holding in C7 for now. And we can see the 100s slowly moving towards the 5 line. Perhaps trying to make a split here, Mojo.
Interesting now that FV183 is watching for the corner on a 7 line. A target is spotted. I wonder what kind of shot will there be.
The FVTD already missing, as now Andrew and Pratelicek start making their move close to Storm. Had a shot there, did not connect it, which could be very crucial. Dani now relocating as well in his FVTD. And Mojo, you have to say here, eSuba in a much better position almost.
I like their position much more, because it looks to me that Storm can be in a huge problem here. I mean, he can fire a shot, but he will have a Bachat harassing him from his back, because Bachat can just swipe away the 1390 and Rico. Poof, he's really in a crossfire there.
Indeed. So far, Enrico holding steadily in the 0 line as Ondrax now makes a peek on that D3 rubble pile, spots out Combat and Jukets as Sigo takes a massive connection there from the E100. 753, 752 actually. That is why you don't mess around with E100s.
And not the best angling there. I mean, it's really hard to angle that close on a corner anyway, because if he tries to shoot, usually some part of the tank that's easy to pen with heat will peek out. I don't know, I expected a bit more aggressive approach here by eSuba, because I think their position is better. And I think they can pressure Sigo from that street quite a lot, as well as they can pressure Storm behind that cap area. And I think they should use it. But they're really taking it slow. Maybe they're hesitating because of all the defeats they had so far.
Perhaps indeed. And now Overus is making the relocation here in his IS-7. Perhaps, Mojo, they're afraid because of Storm being in a bad position. In a bad position for them, maybe one-shotting one of their 50Bs.
Yeah, you can't peek with the 50Bs, but that's why you have an I-7 and you have E100s to open the game. And you can see how Dani is aiming here. What I meant with E100s, they should hug the other part of the wall, which Dani cannot see. Take some damage from Sigo maybe, but return one of his shells with 440 average pen with 750 shells. So that's never a trade you should take with 113 tank that initially has less HP.
You can see here, Tomasek actually crossing. Takes the shot from Enrico though for it. Gets a hell of a lot of information for his team. Sigo Ungi get re-spotted. Well, they knew they were still going to be there, but can they deal with Enrico now as The bat shot from Froli is coming off the hill. He's going to go full speed around. Yet there he goes. The shot does not connect well. One from the 113, but the FETD can't. And now Enrico, he seems to be in trouble here. He can maybe get Tomasek, but no. Froli peeks out. That'll be the 1390 down. First step taken here from eSuba.
Tomasek lost the gunner for a second, but he repaired it. He will now fade, and he will slowly start spotting Storm. And this is the moment which I said, like, Storm is now in a problem. He can turn his gun towards Froli there, but Tomasek will know that. And if he turns his back like this, and he tries to pull away from the tanks that will press this line that he's watching now, then he will get shot by the Bachat in the back. And E100s are taking the corner, as we said, the left side of the street, so they are pressing Zigo. So slowly but surely, eSuba is starting to exploit the positioning of Gunrunners.
Here we go, Combat pushing forwards, wants to connect the shot, does not connect it onto Sigo, so that's a lot of damage wasted here from that E100, but now the 50Bs are pushing around. Sigo goes down quickly. Pratelicek takes a massive connection from the FETD. Unchi gets ammo-racked by Pratelicek, and eSuba surely should be in control here as only 4 tanks from Gunrunners are left standing.
There is nothing else to do here because these FETDs must connect massive shots of 2K to make any kind of impact, and it's already gone. That opportunity is gone.
That opportunity is gone indeed as Combat here almost off of reload. Danny might be able to get one more shell out of the chamber, but he's already getting flanked by Jukets at the meantime. Maybe he can penetrate the IS-7. He's lining up the shot. More damage being taken. He does not even kill the U-100. 3 tanks left standing. Martin is still on full HP, but against 7 tanks from eSuba, there's not much to be done from Gunrunners.
Oh man, Jukets is here ramming Ondrax to death, and the cap is going on, and there is no saving for these guys. Sorry, boys, but back to the drawing of the new and better plans.
Rip Gunrunners in that round. It took eSuba maybe a little bit longer than expected, but you did say it. They had a much better position, and they abused it in the end.
Yes, they hesitated quite a lot there, but their steps were correct, just slow. Now, this is something that eSuba might exploit in the future, because their rotation can be like faster, but this kind of lineup they played limited them a lot, and initial positioning that was in my eyes flawed because they put themselves in position where they cannot really defend anything unless those FETDs make already connection from some great distance, which could not even happen here because Gunrunners did not approach from that side.
This actually reminds me just a little bit of something that Gohard used to play back in the day as well, when Danny was even still there. They had Scarium, I'm just like remembering the round because the position was so similar, playing almost exactly to where the 1390 was. So very similar there, but you could just see it when they came around the corner. All hell broke loose between Gunrunners.
Well, we saw several teams in the last season play that position as the 1390 spotting the 0. Hellfish from Knäckebröd, he was playing there with 113. It didn't work out. He got HE to death eventually. I don't know, everyone who went there ended up getting stuck and not giving enough spot to his team that would prove the value of losing the tank there.
Yeah, and exactly, Mojo. It's just Gunrunners got kind of shreked in that one. But for the damage, in terms of that, let's take a look. Very important for fantasy as well. You know, whoever did the most damage, obviously, usually gets the most points.
It's all about damage.
It's indeed all about damage. Tornado Energy said it himself. Don't win, do damage. Wait, don't just win, do damage.
Don't win, do damage. It doesn't stack, man. It doesn't stack.
Yeah, indeed, Mojo. But we can see here on the statistics, number 1, Combat, player you highlighted in the beginning.
Combat doing top damage in his E100s. I would also like to say E100s did not pen all of their shots. We noticed a couple of misses there. Danny did decent in that FVTD, but for 5 shots, 2k damage, 2.3, that's nothing special.
No, indeed. And then Overus, I think he was leading the charge in his IS-7, but Sigo, Unji, and Rico, I mean, just not enough from the GRS players.
One of the 50Bs, I think Andrew picked up 1800 shot from one of the FVTDs.
Yeah, Andrew. I saw him come around the corner. But in return, they lost like 3 tanks, I think, at that point.
Yeah, they lost like Cascade. 113 fell, then another 113, then FVTD, and then it didn't really all matter because there was no focus there. I mean, with those reloads of FVTDs, you can't have a real focus unless you kill them from the start. That's it. You could even see that the HP stayed kind of even throughout the exchange. But the big thing is always, it doesn't really matter as much in HP in a push like this. When you quickly remove 3 guns,
it's almost impossible to recover.
And that silent cap with entire team of eSuba being there.
Yeah, they would have capped it even, but if you lose 3 guns, 3 tier 10s, and already down at 1390, doesn't matter how much HP you have, really.
Yep. Well, I hope the teams will be ready soon so we can see what they're planning in their other role here. Gunrunners here still not doing well enough, and I think they will have to do much better in the future if they want to stay competitive, because this is their natural adversary in this league. No one else is. They both came from the same environment, and they should even have an upper hand here, being better in the silver, and even having Dani returning to the team. While this is the team from eSuba that play constantly. They didn't change anything.
Yeah, realistically for GRS, they want to win this to show that they have trained a lot, have improved. Losing against eSuba, it just won't do much for them. But Mojo, let's see if they can do it in the second round. Thanks already. Let's take a look. GRS is going to be on the attack now. And what are they deciding to bring?
Well, this is rather faster lineup, finally. So 350Bs, 113 Grille, Bachat, and 1390. This is something like a common lineup. This is something that players like Oops like to play. eSuba, on the other hand, in defense, also rather fast lineup. Only Kranwagen would be the slowing factor there. But they can leave him instead of E5 somewhere, as example.
Indeed, we saw where GRS used them in that train position. But let's take a look into the second round and see exactly what both these teams are going to go for. eSuba currently up 1-0. They're going to be defending. Gunrunners going to be taking it to them on the attack.
Well, let's see where these tanks are heading. Grille as usually is going uphill together with Bachat, but also followed by 50B. So that's quite a hefty split there from Gunrunners. And very defensive unless they want to play it for the top cap. And it does look like they will, to me at least. They will push the 8 line and hill probably parallel. On the other hand, eSuba immediately going out there. Now we should remember eSuba tried something like this last time, but their Kranwagen was not pushed and they got caught by another Kranwagen from Gohard, right? And he got annihilated there.
No.
Ooh, Tomaszek took already a shell and he's almost dead.
One more. Don't think Enrico might get it. He actually does. So that is eSuba's tier rate down very, very quickly. Good stuff there from Gunrunners.
It's really good. I mean, they already lost a spotter here. And they're still pushing the Kranwagen up on their lucky part, I would say. Gunrunners don't have a Kranwagen of their own, so they cannot really deal with him with the high gun depression and armor. I mean, 50B cannot lean down as much it's needed. So Combat will not have someone to take him away. But look at this. Gunrunners, it looks like they were counting on this from the start. They already cleared the hill, and there we go. They are on the way to the rail.
Exactly. That's correct, Mojo. The rotation here from Gunrunners very quickly. Willie even already touching the cap circle just above. Froley there gets spotted out in his Bachat in the train station cap now underway. Enrico needs to be careful here. He's on the cap as well. It's 2 tanks already. And eSuba, they need to be quickly because they could just be capped here any moment.
Yes, there will be probably in some moment a third tank approaching to cap, but even the pressure of these two is more than enough that they have to play super fast. And when you have to play fast as defender, that means that you will get shot on your way because you cannot take the safest way there.
And exactly, Juket and Overus now crossing over. Froley peeks out with reset. He didn't do it just yet. 3 shells left for him. Takes a big one in return. Will now finally gets resetted here by Froley, who's going to try and do as much damage as he can. But really, that was not a good clip at all. Only 1 connection. And the point here is Enrico is still safe behind that house.
I think he managed to do 2, but still, 2 out of...
2 out of 5. 1 on the 3090, 1 on Will.
So it's really not worth it. I would stay still in a really good position as eSuba here because they have the 3090 rather safe. And I mean, Gunrunners have the 3090 rather safe. And eSuba here actually has to do all the pressure now.
Will seems to be caught out just a little bit as the 50B start unloading their clips on towards him. 2 more shots is what they need to take him down. 1 more. Pertelicek has 1 left to take him down. That 113 overextending just a little bit, but the cap is still going on. Pertelicek needs to make sure that he can reset. 36 seconds left. Yes, Will goes down, but the cap is the main focus here at this point.
I think it was really sloppy how they positioned tanks and they left Will down, but they emptied the clips, and so now Pratelicek and Andrew are actually in a big problem. Enrico will get resetted if he keeps playing like this, but he's he's clipping Frolly actually.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Over is actually pushed down. He gets ammo-racked on the first shot here by that 1390. Needs to repair that. Enrico will probably go down, but look at how much HP this is costing at this point here for eSuba. They're down to 5k. Gunrunners left on 7k. Andrew here seems to be the next focus for the boys from Gunrunners. Danny and Unji going to be pushing forwards. Danny gets tracked. Andrew goes down low. Actually goes down completely, and now Gunrunners still up in HP, but it's not going that easy as we thought it might be.
No, because I would say coordination here is rather sloppy, but Gunrunners have such a great advantage in position, they should be more than able to close this one out. Like we saw so many moments when the teammates were not covering each other the best, they didn't have the best angles, and even now when they picked around to finish off a 50B, another tank came from another side and they even didn't see him on time. So yes, there is a lot of room for improvement. Frolly has 3 shells, and I think Ondrex is as good as gone, but still, the battlefield is on Gunrunners' side.
Battlefield on Gunrunners' side. They just had just about enough advantage to close this one out. eSuba with 2 tanks left standing against a 4 from Gunrunners. Martin now relocating as well. There should be no way that eSuba recovers, but never say never. Like your favorite singer says, Mojo. eSuba might have maybe some tricks left here, and I don't understand at this point why Gunrunners is going so aggressive.
I don't know, there is blood in their eyes, man, and that is never the best option here, honestly, because they don't have to do this. I mean, they don't have to kill them. They had 4 guys against 2. They might as well, I don't know, send one to cap and just waited it out. But they chose to play aggressive as this. And Frolly is left on 1 shell and 1 shot here. I mean, there is plenty of guys he could take with that 1 shot, but not all 4 of them.
Nope. Martin gets Frolly. Danny decides that Martin stole his kill. Punishes him for that. 1-1. But you have to say that Gunrunners arguably let this get way too close for the advantage they had.
The key thing is they lost the 1390 on the start. So they didn't have a proper spotter on the lower side of the map. That's quite risky. So they had to rely only on that butshot in a garage. Okay. And then still they play the hill for a long time, relying too much on that Kranwagen that he will actually catch someone and use his cooldown in their advantage. So honestly, there was a lot of blind play here also, because once the 1390 died, they just ran away, man, and they went clear.
Still don't understand how Will got catched by those 250B so easily. I mean, that 113 can withstand a lot of fire, not if he's tracked in a bad spot though.
113 there, I really have a strong feeling that he was left by his team, because we saw massive positioning of his teammates on the lower side of the map, but actually no one was covering any approach to the center courtyard, where you would always assume when team is in a rush, they have to go through there. Like, they literally positioned like someone will go down the hill and all around, but they had no time for that.
Yeah, Unji came very late with his second 50B, which is Storm. If I remember correctly, they were very late to the party.
Yeah, they already emptied both clips on Will. Will was like, guys, help.
Guys, help. But Frolly here, Mojo. And then Unji.
Frolly, Unji, and
look
then
at that.
combat again.
Sorry for interrupting you, but look at the first 4 players. Who are the players we highlighted in the beginning of the match? Who did we highlight on both sides here?
Pretty much these guys.
Plus
Danny.
Just funny that they're in the
Danny's
top 4.
damage should be deducted for that kill on his teammate.
Just funny that they're in the top 4, actually. So it kind of proves we sometimes know what we're talking about.
Sometimes.
Decided to say sometimes because, you know, next round we could be very wrong. But on the bottom here, kind of says itself. Pratelicek and Yukets there with lower damage. And in a close game like this, that 200, 500 damage does make the difference.
Yeah, poor Tomaszek. Well, honestly, for getting caught like that, he deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even really paying that much attention to it, and then he was gone. I was like, oh, bye. See ya. But there's the first map done, Mojo. Second map, it is going to be
Cliff.
And who do you think has the advantage here?
Poof. By this play here, maybe even Gunrunners.
That's the second thing. We have seen eSuba progress throughout this league. I mean, they have played 2 matches already, and it's fair to say that in both these matches that they have played, Mojo, they were kind of a little bit slow with their rotation, a little bit slow in general, to make decisions and such. And Cliff, it can be a map where you need to make that instant decision.
That's
2 seconds
exactly what
loses you
I
the
wanted
game.
to say. eSuba was rather responsive always, taking their time and usually making right decisions, but after a longer period of time. Well, this is a snappy map.
This is a snappy map indeed. Let's take a look at the lineups they have chosen to play on it. Bad shots. Actually,
Even a
wow.
Kranwagen.
And an E5.
Kranwagen and an artillery in defense.
Okay.
No less. Okay. Kranwagen, I approve, for sure. We've seen how it works in defense very well. But combined with artillery, that kind of leaves you less mobile.
It also doesn't really give you that 1-2 line spotter, that T49 that spots a possible 1-2 line rotation. You don't have that. You need to put a tier 10.
While eSuba here actually has more speedy setup with that Ru, they can get quite a lot of info. And maybe pressure Gunrunners in position where they don't want to be.
Well, Mojo, we're going to have to find out which of these 2 teams can take the first round as we move into our second map, Cliff.
Cliff, the most dynamic map in the league. Battles on Cliff always turn into desperate double-edged fights. Teams start from the same spots as they do in standard battles. The first base is located near the defender's spawn point, and the second is at the bottom of the hill. Sometimes teams split their forces and send several tanks through the 1-2 line to the left of the small hill, but usually both teams play at the center. The attacking team can send one of the tanks up to the lighthouse or behind it. Fast and quick-firing vehicles are better suited for this map, mainly medium tanks, including tanks equipped with autoloaders.
So here we go, eSuba versus Gunrunners. eSuba going to be taking the attack, Gunrunners going to be taking the defense, all tied up at this point.
5 tanks of eSuba going for that upper plateau, and 2 Pratelicek and Overus are staying back. Maybe Overus is in position even to snipe down together with Pratelicek. We've seen how devastating can that be if you catch a guy climbing up where Unji is going now.
Yeah, I don't think Unji is going to be making the same mistake, hopefully, as I think he realizes. I mean, it's been demonstrated already once or twice, the damage that can come out from that position. So I don't think Unji is going to take that bait.
Well, he just did a proxy spot. Uket's on very important position here, because when someone peeks from the lighthouse or you have a guy climbing for the lighthouse, this position where he is a crucial one to defend him.
Combat main climber from eSuba here. No issues so far getting up. He'll take the hill, but he has to be a little bit more careful because obviously with RT in play, there is no safe zones. You cannot hide.
Combat main climber, main artillery, main E100. Handy guy.
You can see the RT perspective here. Danny just has his shell ready. Pratelicek and Overus seem to be quite aware of the fact that if they get spotted, they need to go save.
Yeah, this is not a good spot to be on a 2-line. I mean, wherever RT is, it can shoot you there. Even if he was on A4, he could shoot there. Theoretically, his best position would even be up on A2, but he cannot really do it because it's super risky and he can get spotted.
A lot of tanks down here from Gunrunners when you say Mojo. Enrico and Storm are on the lower side of the map. It's just Unji defending pretty much the entire eastern flank.
Yeah, their strength of their team is if eSuba chooses to go 1-2 line rotation. And their weakness is losing Unji to a push from the 2-cap side, because he can get shot in the backhand, in the crossfire, and then only artillery can help him. But even artillery to help him, he will have to first move away, re-aim, and then do it.
You can see this blind shot just in front of Will, splashing up the ground there a little bit. Martin gets spotted out there, so does Unji. So a little bit of info gain here from eSuba.
Well, Martin is in that hold-down position, so he's supporting Unji, kind of. Oh, lucky
Track
boy.
damage this time. Well, that E5 is very good at blind shotting, obviously. I mean, pretty good in terms of not having an autoloader, of course, and can just continuously put shots there.
Yeah, Will is not feeling very comfortable there. But the thing is, Froley doesn't have an arty who can tell him, oh, the tracer disappeared, so you hit something or you didn't hit something. It's very far away, so he cannot see did he hit the texture behind or the shot vanished, which would mean that he actually connected.
Now, Mojo, for the people that are very new, explain why eSuba would bring an E5 and what the strength of this tank can be when he gets into position.
When you get in a position like that, you get a very armored tank with a lot of HP, with a good gun depression and DPM. So in situation where you have to brawl with Bachats, once you climb it up, he is far superior to them because supported by his own clippers, he would just make them go away slowly, shot by shot, and they would be in a trouble. But they gave the hill for free, and Gunrunners are not playing that kind of game.
No, Gunrunners here, Mojo, possibly 1-2 line counter push?
Yes, this will be actually very dangerous because if Pratelicek doesn't see them on time, combined with artillery, and all these guys look at this, they have tank on D3, don't forget the Bachat, and these guys pushing from down, they might actually catch him before he's able to run away, and no one will be able to help him.
Ondrak needs to be careful here. He finally spots them out. Is he safe? Not quite sure yet. Enrico Storm now pushing down. I think Ondrak's even got caught out a little bit, but there comes the reinforcement from Gunrunners, and I don't think eSuba saw this one coming. Pratelicek trying to run. There's nowhere to go, my friend, as Ondrak, Storm, and Rico quickly push up, and he will be going down as the first tank here from eSuba. Overus getting focused down in the meantime. He's gone. He's done. 7 tanks left standing from Gunrunners, just 2 for eSuba.
What is going on with
5.
Uji? Why is his HP...
They're on each other.
Oh, we missed that moment. That was like, dang. But never mind. There is rotation now coming in from eSuba. They are doing the last desperate attempt, trying to clear out what they can from the Gunrunners, but I think they're already in deep trouble.
Most interesting fact here is Unji actually managing to survive all the way up until now. As I say that, Jukets is the one to remove him from the battlefield. Yes, eSuba have the higher ground. Yes, they have the HP, but Gunrunners, they have the guns.
Yes, they have everything they need, honestly. They should just ignore Froley completely and focus on killing Juket, Andrew, and Tomasek. Once they do that, Froley will be just like one slower tank up on a hill, and they can deal with that.
Doesn't seem like they're ignoring Froley just yet, as Enrico and Ondrax, quickly followed by Storm, are starting to make their approach towards that hill. Storm going to be leading the charge. They want to take down the E5 here. Let's see if they can do it. As a shot comes in from Artie, but just 207. Not enough to really scare Froley. These 3 Bachas should be enough to remove him.
I don't like this choice, honestly, because it gives opportunity now to eSuba to maybe snipe down some of these Bachats and come back in a game. If they pushed for the Bachats while they were already reloading and running away, they would pretty much leave Froley out of the game. He would have to lean from the hill to do something suicidal to shoot them down, while they would be in a numerous advantage above like Jukic and Andrew. But like this, I don't know.
Will actually got spotted out in the TVP. He could be in big trouble here as he starts getting sniped from the 2 Bachats from the middle. Already losing about 800 from his health pool, but Martin will be there to push Andrew back, who takes the same amount in return. Possibly should have done even more damage onto that TVP from Gunrunners, who are actually down in HP at this point.
Yeah, Gunrunners, but as we said already, they do have the more guns in the game. Enrico has a dead driver, so does Andrew. That's gonna kind of impede them. But the majority of the HP of eSuba is coming from Tomasek, who is a light, and Froley, who is in heavy tank. Heavy tank having HP is very cool when you are surrounded by a lot of clippers, but if Andrew and Jukic die, that's about it. He will be in a deep problems.
Second thing to note here is that Danny is still in that RD piece, and Froley can't just sit there on the side of the hill because obviously Danny will be eyeing up the shot, and an E5, it's not the hardest of targets.
No, but so far RT was rather low on impact, just a couple of shots, splashes mostly. We didn't see did he connect on TVP when they were fighting up, but on that E5, not much impact.
Andrew actually got caught out in the open there trying to cross the JK line. I don't really understand what eSuba was trying to do there, and now down to 3 tanks.
eSuba, as we know, is attacking now. That means they have to either capture one of the cap circles or they have to kill all of the Gunrunners. So obviously in this kind of game, Gunrunners are not in a rush. They can sit endlessly next to minutes until the time runs out or until eSuba comes out for the last gun blazing fight, and the game will be over then.
Well, if there's going to be a fight, it will be within now and the next 1 minute and 55 seconds, Mojo.
Pretty much.
But Froley here in that E5, okay, he's still up. He's now trying to relocate here, but he has to make the plays at this point as he's realistically the only tank that can do so. There's just too many guns for Gunrunners there. Storm does take a shot, but Tomasek losing a big chunk of his HP at this point as well. I don't think GRS will let it slip at this point.
eSuba is dying slowly but surely for last couple of minutes. It's just, I would say, lack of, I don't know, coordination within Gunrunners that's still keeping them alive, because I think this game should have been over by far by now.
Froley now taking more damage, possibly from RT, while 738 most likely as Martin has made his way onto the hill as well. Jukets trying to trade with Enrico, but Enrico always going to have the superior position from that mountain. Froley now pushing forwards towards Ondrax. Ondrax takes one massive shell, but now will start to clip onto that E5. Smartly backing away. There comes Storm to possibly finish it off. Ondrax will now peek out and finish it off. Froley down. Jukets down as well. Tomasek left standing.
Well, this is one of the longest Cliff rounds we've seen so far. I'm gonna quickly check, but let's see. Cliff usual duration 6 minutes around here.
Well,
And the timeout 0%. Well, even this doesn't count as timeout. They actually killed each other 30 seconds before.
30 seconds. Very slow round here between these two.
And we said that before the game even started, and that it might actually work in Gunrunners' favor. But this was really super defensive. I mean, we did artillery piece in defense. I'm not sure how much should it work if someone pressed a bit better than eSuba did.
Good counter push though from Gunrunners coming out, retaking that 1-2 line. Obviously, I don't think eSuba was ready for that one.
I didn't like the positions of their tanks because they were too far spread out. They just acted like there is no one who can push them on that 1-2 line. And numerous teams already got proven that that's not the case.
Yeah, and I don't think Gunrunners saw them leave. Obviously, Unji was continuously peeking up in that middle area, so he would spot them unless they went back to 1-2 line. But I think Gunrunners knew the entire time, actually, because Unji was peeking in the middle, and unless they juked him and his spotting, Enrico was spotting 1-2 line.
I was very surprised, as example, eSuba didn't have a single person. You know how you keep a bachat behind the corner? Like they came from 1-2 line, and if you climb up, on your right side, there is a little hill and corner, and when you put a tank there, you have a crossfire there, you have a crossfire on Unji. There was no one there. They just had two tanks lying there waiting for Arti to shoot them or someone to flank them. It was just bad positioning all over the place.
We did talk about how Cliff could be a map for Gunrunners. I think it might be a 2-0 even, Mojo.
It's very possible, but let's see. I'm really interested. Will they play again something slow like this with Arti? Or some combination? We saw already that people take Arti and 6 butchats, which is really rather good and strong lineup.
Yeah, indeed. It is a very strong lineup, but I don't expect much aggression from eSuba coming out in the second round on Cliff. But before that, let's take a look where the damage came from. Froley, no surprise.
Froley 3.2k, one of the last survivors, and he had constant shots, of course. But look at after him. Look at this. Gunrunners all the way.
The next 6 players coming out from Gunrunners. Who's the player that we're missing here? Enrico, Storm, Danny, Ondrax, Martin, Ungi. Who are we missing?
Andrew.
Andrew, your man.
Andrew.
No,
sorry,
Will.
he's in eSuba. Will is missing.
Andrew has switched team now towards Gunrunners, apparently.
It's like a Mraka situation, man.
Mraka is undefeated, so don't talk bad about Mraka. He has the undefeated streak.
Why would I ever talk bad about Mraka, man?
Well, I'm surprised he didn't actually get to do anything, because he counter-pushed 1-2 line with him, but obviously didn't get any shots off.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess he was focused there or something like that. Even that push on 1-2 line was kind of a bit sloppy there. I think Ondrax, when he was playing a butcher there that got initially spotted, fell too early down, but still they picked up both of the tanks, so it didn't cost them anything. And after that, it was just a downfall. There was simply nothing that eSuba could do to recover back in a game. Nothing that wouldn't be given, of course.
More dominant team would probably have closed that round out a little bit quicker, because we
like
see
4 minutes quicker, probably.
Yeah, because you see teams like Oops, Go Hard, Ding, Kazna, etc., etc. Once they have that advantage, you will hardly see them stop.
Yeah, I still think it's a major mistake pushing after E5 up, but still, it doesn't really matter now.
Doesn't really matter. Let's take a look at the tanks for the second round on Cliff. Is there RT involved or is there not? Mojo, you called it correctly.
There is an RT in offense and then 113. Interesting pick for 113, the tank that is rather fast but has no gun depression. And the rather standard lineup by eSuba with the addition of that T62A, it will be used probably defensively on the cap.
Yeah, we saw them use the 140 before. Now going with the T62A. Gunrunners should have a pretty good read on the tactic eSuba is going to be using if they are going for the same thing that they have ran before.
Unless they're playing mind games again and they just do YOLO.
Perhaps, Mojo, perhaps. But we're going to have to see how just how much that Artie is going to be able to do in this round because, you know, it is always a little bit of a hit or miss, but we'll have to find out as we jump into the second round here on Cliff with Gunrunners on the attack, eSuba on the defense. Currently 2-1 in favor of Gunrunners.
I really favor RT in attack more and defense in this side. I think it's better side for artillery. On other hand, it's all about how will eSuba actually play this out, how aggressively they will take positions and maybe lock off Gunrunners. This is a super defensive play. They even don't have any mid spotters, nothing. They're putting all their cards on rotation on 1-2 line again.
You can see it is Protelicek playing the T62A in the B2, B3 position, so no surprises there whatsoever. This is exactly what we thought eSuba would do, but Mojo, Jukets is an A1, and if you're wondering there, Mojo, what is Danny doing? What is he looking for?
Tomasek is up spotting and Jukets will get shots on like E3 on his spots if there is someone coming there. Also, he can support Pratelicek when he's on cap if someone is trying to go below it. So there is a lot of cards from eSuba also on defense on 1-2 line, but more fast.
Oh, massive hit from Tomasek in the T49 for 848 onto the back of Ondrex there. And just if you wonder how much that did, dead gunner, damaged fuel, that is not
Pain, man.
not good.
That's pain. That's pain.
That is very careless checking there from Ondrex.
Yes. I mean, he just relied that he has so much tanks behind him that he didn't really pay attention what is he doing to the detail. Now Storm is taking over that position with a cooldown, which is much better, of course. But there is only one guy covering the right side, and it's Martin. Now eSuba is completely abandoning the lower side. They're just leaving Pratelicek at the moment on the cap. But that 850 shot, that could actually win them the game.
Especially because Ondrex is now playing with a dead gunner.
And there is advantage on a tank, while Gunrunners have an RT. RT is always RNGs related. You never know. It can sometimes pay off magnificently by one-shooting someone, or he can just miss the entire game or do those 200, 300 shots that don't really matter that much.
See the rotations now coming out from eSuba. Tomasek going completely away from that D2 position, is now situated in F9, F0. Might even try to take it further because he has already done his job pretty much in the T49.
This is a good play by eSuba at the moment, and rather static one from Gunrunners at the moment. And all of the play that comes at the moment from the Gunrunners can evolve only around killing Pratelicek on that one cap. Everything they can do is there, because if they push anywhere else, they're just going to get mutilated.
See now Enrico and Unji are going to be the frontline tanks from G or S as they push down 1-2 line. We will see how much damage they're going to take for this. Will be joining them in the TVP, probably just going to stay in the back. There we go. Enrico is now spotted. Pratelicek tries to connect, does not. So far, so good for both these bad shots as they are crossing unscathed. As I say that, Unji is taking a load of damage, minus 1.3, minus 1.5. He goes down towards Pratelicek. More Danny one-shots Pratelicek doing the T62A. Pretty much full HP, so that kind of evens it, doesn't it?
That pretty much pays off, really. That's kind of an RNG what we were talking about RT. He could have just splashed him or even missed him entirely. And then this game would completely be in eSuba hands. Like this, we still have a game on, but 1k advantage, 1.5k advantage for eSuba, who are defending, and they do not have artillery piece. They have a mobile tank, like mobile RT, like 49 is.
Martin and Tomasek now spotting each other out over there, so Martin probably going to be forced a little bit backwards as he does not want to mess with Tomasek. Ondrax will probably remind him, be careful, he already penetrated me.
Pretty much. Martin here is not in really great position. He can get shot from the hill, and if Tomasek catches him in some moment, in some awkward position, he can really wreck him. Tomasek is trying, if you're thinking what he's doing, he's trying to blind shoot position of Artie. Artie is somewhere there, and if he's careless, he might connect him if he's not covered by the rock.
Martin should go proxy spot Tomasek now at this point, maybe for artillery, but on the way out, he takes 410 damage as a goodbye gift from one of the bad shots. So he will be safe, but he will not get out of there for free.
It would be interesting to see can RT connect something here, because honestly for Gunrunners this is the only thing that can happen to bring them back in a game. They are already 2000 HP down, and I believe that loss of Unji in that Bachat is much more dangerous for them than loss of Pratelicek in 62A. Not player by player, but tank by tank, because Bachat on long run on this map will be more useful.
To see now, Storm in the 1-1-3 is starting to make his approach here as Danny lets off a blind shot towards Tomasek. Not hitting that one, but look at eSuba. They're going for the counterplay here. They're completely abandoning all their positions and pushing towards the middle as Ondrax is the one to spot it all out. Storm not in position right now. Neither is Enrico, so it's pretty much Will and Ondrax versus the entirety from eSuba, which are continuing to push forwards. Will not connecting on the first. Ondrax now forced back as well as Froli and Komad take the higher position, but it doesn't look like eSuba is just about to stop. We talked about them being slow while they're taking it to Gunrunners at this point as Danny is spotted. He needs to back out, and look at this. Ondrax goes down. Will is now going to get pushed on as well, and there is just no recovery for GRS in this round.
Completely outpositioned here. Gunrunners, even RT is on the run. As soon as eSuba saw rotation down, they were just waiting for that, and they immediately pushed where they had higher ground and more tanks. So more guns. Gunrunners had to fall down, and once you lose the higher ground on Cliff, you lost the game.
It's pretty much what just happened as Storm in that 1-1-3. You can't do much against a bunch of autoloaders, as Overus will probably be the one to peek around the corner and finish him off as soon as Storm is on reload. There we go. Overus now peeks around the first, the second, the third to take him down. Enrico now the last man standing. Full HP. He can do this. Not really, maybe.
Maybe in another lifetime. But in this game, it will just not happen. No matter what he does, these guys can just keep falling down on him, and he will eventually die.
Well, that was one. Jukets. Froli now number two. Andrew clipping onto Enrico. The Goomba. Nope. Combat steals it. And that is 2-2.
Does that damage on each other count?
What do you mean?
They were on each other teammates and losing HP while we were even going out of the game.
Yeah, it counts as team damage.
Yeah, pretty much. But the game is over, and it's 2-2. So no decision here. We possibly might actually go to that tiebreaker, because this match is as tight as it gets. There is a whole lot of slow play and even some mistakes here. It does look like both teams are a bit hesitant, but eSuba looks a bit better on those counter-attacks. That might actually bring them some advantage in this match. That
counter-attack was very well timed. I don't think they even spotted Storm.
Yes, but we've said from the start of the season, this is how eSuba plays. They try to lower the enemy, and then just they lurk for a good timed action. One counter-attack that will just decide that game for them. They did it multiple times against Gohard, and it worked.
Yeah, eSuba here, completely in the lead. I mean, if Danny does not remove Pratelicek, you know, Pratelicek
that was the only thing that kept him in the game so far.
It's Pratelicek's own fault. He was camping much too hard, and that's what happens when you camp too hard. Artillery will strike and remove you from the game, doesn't it, Mojo?
You're approving of artillery for that purpose?
Huh?
You're approving for artillery for that purpose?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that best part of the game, right?
Great shot from the enemy RT.
Great shot from enemy RT. That's what I hear from you when you get shot by RT every time. Great shot, mate. Good skill.
Yeah.
Well, Danny was a skilled one here. Pratelicek got wrecked. I'm pretty sure he is happy about it. But the score is now 2-2, and we will go to a next map shortly.
Well, Mojo, before we move to the next map, let's round this one off by showing the stats from the last round. And the top damage dealer here is going to be Overus But there, Danny, you know, 1,950 damage. That's already for you.
That's actually his average on this map because he did about that on the last game also in RT.
Great play there from Danny.
Well, he's doing better on RT than on tanks, honestly, so
Whoa,
far.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Got pretty much wrecked in last matches, man.
You can't say that. It's jinxing it, Mojo. Now he's not going to play well on RT anymore either. And then Unji, yeah, not much to say about that. You know, not much you can do even at that point.
Well, he got pretty much decimated there. Martin didn't go do any much better when he was trying to proxy spot, but that position where he was on that road, that was rather
We
bad.
see the position that closest come to mind is Stefan. It's not the normal hold-down position where Tomasek was playing, but this is the one behind it, and they actually can't touch you in that one unless they push for you, and that possibly would have been much, much better.
Yeah, still, but I would expect Martin to be on the right side, on the slopes, not there, on the road, where he is wide open for shots from everywhere.
Well, maybe next time.
Maybe next time he will learn about it.
Very interesting that all these teams are now coming out with heavy tanks on the cliff, and it is an interesting shift in the meta. It's something we haven't seen a lot. Heavy tanks coming out on cliff. It's been pretty much Bachat central throughout this season. Well, last season before.
Last season was very boring in that fashion because it all ended up around Bachats. Climb the hill, try to maybe see did some of them slip by, maybe get some advantage and then shoot them down. Now you actually have some diversity. You can see Kran Wagons, RTs, 113s, E5s. So yeah, it can be a bit more different and entertaining.
Yep, different dynamic. And talking about dynamic, let's see if there's any dynamic tanks available on our next map, which is going to be Ghost Town and Mojo. There we go. Remember what I told you about Emils? Remember what I told you about Emils?
But we will see how will they handle this game. They
You know exactly how they will handle them.
Well, cool down for Emils here, but will they connect their shots? That's the prime.
You know what's the worst part? eSuba actually has T49, so that can reset pretty easily, but we saw Udas do it as well.
Yeah, Udas was a really beast when Koritz played it. We also saw it, both Navi and Tornado Energy actually played it on CIS server. Exactly the same lineup.
Dude, that thing hurts.
Yeah, it's really dangerous vehicle, especially for that position, like a brutal sniper. But here, eSuba playing with 1E100 and Gunrunners also.
Well, we're going to have to find out where these Emil 2 are going to go as we jump into our next map. It's going to be Ghost Town.
Ghost Town. The first absolutely symmetrical map, made especially for 7 versus 7 games. The teams start the battle on opposite sides. There are numerous ways to attack here. One of the bases is located in the central square, the other one at the top of the city. The hardest battles are usually fought for the top base, and this calls for the use of heavy tanks. Sometimes the teams choose fast tanks for spotting and base capturing.
Gunrunners versus eSuba, currently 2-2-2 as GRS takes on the attack and eSuba takes on the defense. And Mojo, where exactly are these Emil 2s going? Surprise me.
I would believe that they would actually go in cooldown on a center, but no, they're going back in a pocket on B0 positions. It's a rather interesting approach. We've seen sometimes team takes Bachas like Ondraxis or even a 50B, but never something like this.
You know what it's for? Your teams do it with the IS-7 as well. They'll push them down towards B0 and then onto the cap.
Yes, that's going to be their plan, of course, but we've never seen Emils played from there. Also, we will see how will just Gunrunners deal with the eSuba deal with the decap.
I don't know about this T49 on distance, such long range, trying to hit, and Emil 2 very armored. He will probably do damage with H3 ammo, but will he be able to do it reliably? Because with 2 guys on the cap, he can only miss twice, I think.
He might even actually splash one of another. There is a possibility if they line up like that.
Depends on how far away they sit from each other, indeed.
But as we are talking, eSuba is actually approaching from the lower side of the map. This is a normal response to such a game. You already see the 50Bs and Bachas going from the down.
Right now they have nobody spotting.
No one is spotting. Because there is no one who can. I mean, only Ondrax could, but he was from the start of the game with them.
No, it's same thing there, but I'm saying nobody will spot Martin and Will, and they haven't destroyed those houses yet either, so they could sit behind them. As I say that, they completely destroyed them, so never mind that. But there's nobody's spotting. Nobody's spotting this cap. 34 seconds.
And Rico got connected by T49, but he's not the important one in this cap. The other two guys are. This is a rather strange game here, and look at the Storm's position. Like, he's wide open to get flanked.
They're too far away almost, it feels, at this point, but this is Gunrunners. They're going to take the overmatch. They know 3 tanks are out of the fight. Emil's pushing forwards. Enrico as well. Froli in the Kranwagen only has 2 shots left. Finally starting to connect, but Overesur is the one in trouble against the T-57s if they start penetrating their shots. Unji has 1 more, but they actually lose Will as first tank, so GRS kind of trading evenly against the eSuba, and now the reinforcements will come out, and they're starting to focus on Storm at E100. Look at the HP he's dropping. He's down towards Tomasek, and GRS, I think, is falling to pieces.
I think they are, because they took too much time to kill that one E100 Overus. They didn't realize on time how many tanks exactly were missing. So they took their slower approach to try to pen their shells, and while it was going on, eSuba was on a fast track there. But the reloads are coming back in, and this is going all over the place, man.
Yeah, but Enrico has to be careful here as Martin quickly goes down. Ondrax now focusing down Protelicek, who just has reload available. Ondrax actually doesn't have enough shells, so he's going to take a lot for this. He actually gets ammo racked, and he already uses repair kit as Enrico gets focused down by Jukets and Combat. 3 tanks left standing from GRS, and it's the eSuba to turn it around.
You can't even say Ondrax is in the play anymore, because his reload will be far, far, far away. So it's only Unji and Dani, but they have the mean reloads with 20 plus seconds only with these T-57s. They could actually bring a victory if they play well enough.
It doesn't look like eSuba is going to give any room here for Gunrunners to make a play as Combat now comes from behind, connects onto Dani. Now Froli pushing forwards in the Kranwagen to remove the T-57. Can't do anything against it. Can obviously not penetrate that turret. And I think Ondrax might just about be reloaded.
Unji might be late.
No? No.
Yeah, no way. Unji might be late for maybe 5 to 10 seconds to that corner, but that was more than enough to sell Dani there to the Wolves. They came in a pack, took him apart, and Dani has to, Unji has to go backwards now and try to gather up forces with Ondrax and hope they pen all the shells.
There is obviously always potential, but how big is it when Ondrax being ammo-racked? Obviously, this is going to push it back to 70 seconds.
Unji even has 3 shells, so that's even the lowering factor. Sooner or later he will have to do a reload before they actually make a plan. eSuba is not risking much. They pulled back, as you can see, in their corner, and they're just covering each other as best they can. They don't really need to seek out Gunrunners. Only inexperienced teams would do it once the tanks fade. Once the tanks fade, you can just go in any kind of trap trying to do it. The best choice is always just to make your own crossfire and wait it out. They're covering the 1 cap, but that cap was never dangerous for them, and they're letting Gunrunners play on the upper 2 cap in the city.
For Gunrunners, it's going to be very difficult here because to get the information, they need to expose. Exposing means potential to take damage. They're 2 guns down. They still have Combat in the T-49. Can it happen?
The only way they can do this, there are 2 ways that they can play. Put T-57 in the cap, Ondrax on a corner, something like Kazna did with Piotr and Vetso when they were playing against Ding, and try to play it out like that and connect their shots. Probably lose T-57 in the process, run away with Ondrax, try to reload and finish the game. The second version would be, okay, we're not going to do any of that. We are going to try to come out to the fade and maybe catch some of the eSuba guys before they gather on time. So that's also an option they can try, but that one is rather hard because you do not know where the enemy is exactly, and you might actually fall to the trap before
They
doing
can't
any damage.
just have Ondrax surviving though, because even if Unji penetrates all his shots and Ondrax does, it will take him so long to reload, and then
he will have to finish off whoever is still alive. Yes, it's not going to be easy or pretty. And the time is still just going away. Lowering the chases, because once the engagement starts, once Ondrax lost entire clip, he will still need those 70 seconds to reload again. And then some time to approach the enemy and fight. So it's not looking good for them.
exactly. Unji now tried to make a peek there against Jukets. Jukets smartly backing away. Unji getting away for free as well. But it's still 2v4 here, and there's still a little chance. Now Unji is pushing forwards, but there's a Kranwagen waiting there. Froli, if he can connect the shots, then it's pretty much a done deal. There we go. That's the first already connected from Froly. Some more coming in the second. Unji, you're in trouble. You're in big, big trouble. Finally, Froly gets spotted out. Not before removing half of Unji's HP, though.
This is going from bad to worse, man. As usual, the misery never comes alone. Misfortune and all kinds of those things. Well, even if Unji saw him on time, I don't think he would be able to do anything. And there is a push here from Ondrax.
Ondrax can't even shoot on the move as he won't reload. And there we go. He does try it. Bounces onto Tomasek's armor. Only has 4 shots available now. And he can't kill Tomasek in 1 clip. So Tomasek will probably go for the engagement here against Ondrax to close out the game. Misses a shot. Has 3 left. Still enough. Unji now trying to help. Gets connected by Yukets as Froly and Yukets push forwards to close out the game. Tomasek picks up Ondrax. Unji gets connected by Yukets. Froly to come around the corner and finish it off. Survives just a little bit longer. Maybe Tomasek will be the one. No, Froly it is, and eSuba taking the lead here. 3-2.
3-2 here for eSuba. Rather sloppy game by both teams. I mean, there was a lot of kind of not focused and bad shooting here at the end, but still, eSuba did all the steps needed to win the game, and that's all that matters at the end of the day, because as we said, this is super important match for both of them. They do need points, especially against one another, because they're the newest teams in the league. And the best thing they need to do in this season is not to dream about some skyscrapers and clouds, but how to remain in the league. To remain in the league, you should be either in top 6 or at least 7th. So you could play a relegation match. Because if you end up 8th at the end, you're automatically relegated to silver.
It's, GRS not looking good here. Taking very long to make that counterplay. I mean, 3 tanks were spotted out of the fight for so long. They waited way too long. Then took way too long again to kill an E100. And
there was really a lot of hesitation for someone to pick up a shot against E100. They were trying to position to shoot him in cheeks or whatever, while when they saw they have a numer advantage, they should just go for him, flank, pick up a shot and finish him off and drive away.
Well, that didn't happen, and eSuba won the round. So let's take a look at exactly how it went down. And Froly there, nice play.
Froly is having a couple of really good games here, so is Yuket. Anji, top damage dealer here for Gunrunners, but as we saw, far from enough for this game.
Thomas, Combat. Wait. Was Combat playing the T49? Yeah, he was. I'm just like trying to remember here. I was like confused a little bit there because I think Thomas had played it before, if I'm not wrong, but not this time. But yeah, again, good damage there coming out from the T49 as well.
Overus in E100. One
Rip.
shot fired there on the corner.
But the Emils.
Will getting caught. Martin. It's not really the...
It's not even about getting caught. Even if they did get caught, they Martin connected 2, Will connected none, and he got 3 out.
And but the same you could say for Overus. Overus was point blank shooting in T57s. He got only 1 shot off and he didn't pen it. It's not something you should allow yourself in a gold league. Yes, it's fine if you in a random match you can say RNG sold me out or whatever, but here, such shots, that's kind of unforgivable.
That's what I always say, RNG sold me out.
Maybe, man.
Maybe. But let's take a look at the tanks that have been selected for the second round on Ghost Town. And a lot of 50Bs here.
A lot of 50Bs here on both sides. Quite a nimble lineup here from Gunrunners. Although they have 2 E100s, this is quite mobile. But when you're talking about RNG, I just remember that Ryan's highlight, man, from the stream.
Huh?
You know when he played the Centurion against a certain person?
Oh, and he couldn't hit anything?
Yeah, for a couple of shots in a row.
But
RNG is brutal.
RNG is brutal indeed. Now, Mojo, but these lineups, who do you give the advantage to? Because eSuba kind of looks like a cap strategy, but we're going to have to find out as we jump in the round. eSuba obviously on the attack, Gunrunners on the defense. 3-2 in favor of eSuba. Continuing on my thought, who do you give the advantage to with this lineup?
I prefer eSuba lineup here because in defense, having a Ru played by Seago, I don't really like it. Eventually, he'll probably go up and try to decap from the upper positions, or they will just go fight and Seago will spot one corner. But still, even as a fighting vehicle, Ru is not the best one for this map. Not in my eyes.
Combat needs to be careful there, as he could drive straight into 350Bs who don't look like they're about to stop. Combat quickly getting out of there as Sigo spots out. I think who's the other Bacha there? That is Tomasek. He spots Tomasek out. Froley now moving towards the cap in his 113 as the 50Bs from Gunrunners continue their rotation.
Combat might be in a problem here, honestly. But even if they pressure Combat with 3 tanks, then there will be a huge counterattack by eSuba on the remainder tanks of Gunrunners, so that would even pretty much each other. Anji is trying to keep Combat busy so he doesn't shoot his teammates in the back. There is some pressure there on a cap, but that's just roost. Enrico took a big shot. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Enrico overextending in the E100, getting connected by both Overus and Jukets. And now Gunrunners again going for the counterplay here, trying to do the damage, peeking out with the 50Bs, but a little bit too slow as Jukets already made it around the corner, and they need to be careful because he can deliver a big blow to any of these 50Bs. Now Unji also backing away from over there, and all this time cap has been going on, 1 minute and 20 seconds left on it.
Still, there is the advantage there for eSuba. There is a cap pressure going on. No matter how small it is, Sigo is there trying to decap, but we've seen in last season, Ru can decap sometimes, but it's really not reliable, and effectively now, as far as I see, it's Storm who did it with HE Shell.
Lead Storm with an HE Shell, 390 damage, nice connection, but look at the rotation here from eSuba, Pratelicek, Andrew. They seem to be moving towards Storm. They've seen the C100, and I think they might be able to catch him out if they are quick enough. Pratelicek is going to peek the corner. Are they going to do it? All the meantime, they're getting connected by the Ru. They are peeking out, trying to do the damage onto Storm, but Ondrex, Enrico, and Martin have already relocated Pratelicek. He goes down. They don't even take Storm. Now Andrew, he only has 1 shot left in the chamber. Ondrex pushing around the corner, and this counterplay from eSuba seems to be working against them.
Pratelicek peaked that much more than he should have. You could see that he is like on 1 millimeter verge of being shot the entire team, and it happened. Now eSuba is on a big problem because they were permanently spotted by that Ru all the time, so they knew and they had time to call for rotation. While on the other side, eSuba had all the tanks in the back just playing defensive.
Very bad stuff here for eSuba, as all the health they have remaining is pretty much on Overus and Jukic. Those two E100s with 2.7k starting HP have a lot remaining, but it doesn't really help them in this fight.
Froley is not even a problem anymore in that cap. He's on so low HP that once the fight starts, they can just send Ru point blank and go attack him. Like he can take 1, 2 shots even before he arrives and just decaps him. Or even kills him.
At this point, eSuba still have equal HP, but 2 guns down.
Tomasek with a dead gunner. Not very cool situation. 2 tier 9 budgets also. When you're supposed to pen tanks with high armor like E100s, not really an easiest targets for them.
They're HCing Froley to dead. Froley actually gets Enrico. HC shell bouncing off the side of his turret there, so Enrico kind of a little bit overextending there. Don't want to give too much to eSuba. Only 1 tank down at this point, and no need for Enrico to go down there.
No really need, but Froley is now on 80 HP. I mean, if Sigo has some HE shells, he should try them now. Never mind that. Danny found him.
Danny with a nice connection there, removing Froley, removing the cap pressure, and this puts GRS into the driving seat. Overus is now pushing forwards, possibly wants to take down Storm in his T100. If he can do so, be a big thing, but before that happens, Storm actually connects onto him. He doesn't connect onto Storm, and this Ru is annoying.
How did he even pen this shot? Did you see that? Like, no. It shouldn't happen ever.
You can see the hesitation there from the boys from Gunrunners, not wanting to drive into Jukets in a C100. Overus now needs to pick up Storm. Again, another bounce here coming out. And the 50Bs are like, well, we're not going for Jukets. Let's get Storm Overus instead. There we go. 2 shells connecting very quickly. The third comes in to take him down. And that is another tank advantage here from Gunrunners. Danny looks like he wants to claim another tank for his own as he's pushing forward towards Jukets. Jukets connects. Tomasek connects as well. And that's Danny down. And GRS throwing away a lot of tanks here unnecessarily.
I mean, if he really wanted to play there against Jukets, why didn't he just go in fully in so he doesn't get shot by that other budget from the field? That would be his only chance to do actually all the 3 shells. He picked there rather badly, but still, game is theirs, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Just some extra damage for the boys of eSuba here. Tomasek gets picked up by Sigo, who has a big amount of damage in this round, I can tell you that. Without looking at any stats, fairly certain around 1.5, maybe even 2k or more combat. Now on the run, possibly wanting to talk about the next round, the next map, which is going to be Mojo.
Next map will be Steps.
So probably thinking about that one, as now Sigo and Unji find him. Sigo allowed to do some more damage even at this point.
I would be worried because actually eSuba played Steps rather well. And last time against Gohard, this is the map where they broke them 2-0.
Combat might actually, nope, he can't kill Sigo. Sigo will claim the kill. No, Unji, it is 3-3 between these two, going the distance so far, pretty much what we expected.
Pretty much we are going closer to the tiebreaker or 5-3 score that we mentioned before. Rather equal game between them. As we mentioned multiple times, a lot of mistakes done by both teams, a lot of hesitant plays. So they really need to, both teams need to work on that. Like on amount of aggression that they can do and decision making also. In some moments, I even have a feeling they're just throwing away tanks.
But they hold on. Gunrunners, and it's all they had to do.
Yeah, Storm here on that E100 really paid off. And
Overus, there's no excuse for not connecting twice in a row.
oh, it's also Pratelicek when he peaked with that 50B on a corner. That was a costly
That's
move.
nonsense.
Because he wanted to get a better angle on E100, I understand, but he was spotted for so long time. You cannot play like this. You have to have a wider picture, like you have to know where is the enemy.
What did I say about the RU?
Oof.
What did I say?
Sigo hard carry here. This is same like Koritz when he played Udes there, man. Like they are almost top damage. Okay, Sigo is actually a top damage dealer here.
Very good stuff there by the Ru. He did get a lot of damage onto Tomasek, I think, in the tier 9 battle in the end. But before that, I think he already had 2k damage or so. So he did at least 2k, I think, without that free farm in the end on towards Tomasek. So that would still put him on place 8 or 9. Chukets and Froly there doing a decent amount of damage. Obrus as well, even though some failed connections there, but
Look at this.
Pratelicek.
Look at that. Both 50Bs that peaked on that corner are actually the bottom here in this game, and their play there is the prime reason how they lost it. I mean, those couple of free shots on E100 were great, but once they saw they don't have an angle, they should have pulled back immediately.
Yeah, pretty much that in exactly Mojo. But if you're wondering, the damage might always seem so close in rounds like this, but it's because there's so little HP remaining, and those 1 shots, 2 shots of damage difference between certain players does make a massive, massive difference.
Yeah, but this is about experience we were talking about. You gain in a Gold League because once you start playing like this, the amount of mistakes you make like this will lower. This is something that you can say you carry as a burden from the Silver League because the matches are, of course, not on that high level. But here, you gotta learn fast or you're gonna just get wrecked and recycled.
Get thrown into the water and swim or
Pretty
drown.
much. Well, they say the babies actually swim very well, man.
They do because they're used to that. But that's completely off topic. Let's take a look at the lineups moving into Steps. And if eSuba can keep up their record, should be 2-0. But Mojo, Gunrunners.
Gunrunners
M53.
with M53, formerly only and exclusively played by Oops in a previous season. But here we go. Gunrunners are picking it up. I wonder, is Danny playing it again?
Of course.
Probably. Kranwagen on defense on eSuba. Kranwagen might be a big problem because this Artie can wreck him. I mean, problem for eSuba themselves, because if he gets spotted and they don't press hard enough on Gunrunners.
The hull is not that armored. There is potential there for 1.5 to 2.2, depending on the role. But let's find out who's going to put themselves on match points here between Gunrunners and eSuba. Let's find out on Steps.
Steps, the most open map in the league. The attacking team appears near the rocks at the bottom of the map, and the defending team starts at the top. Bases are located near the railway and on the green. The best way to control them is to use the lowland near the second base. The attacking team usually begins the attack from the rocks and the railway, but sometimes they can attack through the green. Teams often drag vehicles from flank to flank, so both teams usually pick light vehicles with a good camouflage rating, but sometimes use tanks with a strong turret and even SPGs.
Gunrunners taking on eSuba. 3-3 here as eSuba want to bring it to match point on the defense. Gunrunners want to bring it to match point on the attack.
As we expect, usually attacking team that has an Arti is going on the left side. Sigo is playing Arti actually, and Dani is on Bachat. We will see how will that pay off. Dani is doing a super aggressive spot on the middle. One would say almost suicidal if there were tanks there from eSuba.
Yeah, seems like they just wanted to push away Overus, which they successfully did. Dani, super aggressive here, trying to spot out any possible climbs. Combat also has to move. And Overus!
That
Arti
is an
take a
Arti
big
shot.
shot there. Arti,
That's an
700,
Arti shot.
780.
That's quite important because he has to limp back. Now look at this. Kranwagen, this is one of the positions you actually proposed. How could it be used before the season?
They're not letting him take it. They're not letting him take that C2 position.
Yep. We will see will they manage to actually get him there, but these Bachats already prevented it. This is super aggressive approach from Gunrunners.
He can still peek on the rails though. He can still possibly peek on the rails and be semi-safe.
Not against Arti.
Not against Arti though. There we go. Makes a shot. Does not connect. This is the moment where Tomasek needs to play aggressive. He needs to peek.
Ooh,
But
look at Martin's position. It's covering only him. It's specifically waiting for only him.
Very important. Because I think Tomasek can still pretty much play the rails and be arguably safe, or showing only the top part from his hole.
Dani picked up some damage there. I wonder from who. I didn't have time to see.
There's only one option here for eSuba, Mojo, and it has to be the counter push.
It has to be because they have advantage in numbers. Since Martin already fired the shot and they're gathering up for that. Anji is not there with them. This could be devastating.
This could be devastating indeed for GRS as eSuba looks to make their move. There we go. Tomasek is already starting to peek. Juket goes over, gets tracked. The damage comes out. Andrew is the first on the receiving end, but Dani gets completely removed from GRS, and now this push is about to continue here. Storm goes down, Enrico soon to follow, and it doesn't seem like GRS was prepared for this. 3 tanks down. Ondrex now in trouble as well, and Unji not being there is costing GRS so badly at this point.
This is not only that, you have to pull away tank to protect the Arti, but eSuba used it really well, and they just did the best they can. Full in with great focus fire. You could see how those tanks were just shut down by them.
Froly here tried to pick up Unji, but Unji did not let himself be killed by the tier 8 light tank, but it doesn't matter at this point. eSuba with 7 tanks left alive, and it doesn't look like they're about to slow play this one as Martin peeks out, takes a handful of damage for that, takes even more, gets ammo racked even at this point. Froly comes around, finishes off Unji, Martin soon to follow. Ondrex doesn't live much longer. Sigo, the last one standing, and eSuba looks to put themselves on match point here with a brilliant counter push. Combat, one more shot, there we go, match point for eSuba.
eSuba proving again that they are quite dangerous adversary on steps. I do believe they have a good read on this map. I liked how they played against Gohard. It might have been a bit slow, but all the decisions were there, the correct ones. And so they were now. Yes, they took some damage. They took some damage from Arti, but their decision making was on point. They hit some tanks, and when they pushed, it was all in really fast. Great focus fire. They used every possible weakness that Gunrunner lineup has. They have to stretch, and they have to wait for reloads of Arti. So those tanks had nowhere to go, and eSuba used it well.
Not much else to be said there. Gunrunners kind of misreading the game in a sense that we saw the counter push incoming. We said it about 10 seconds before it came. Very good stuff there from eSuba. Leading the charge, obviously, with their heavy tanks. They knew RT was on reload because we saw RT fire. So to wrap up this round, Mojo, let's take a look at the stats. And I want to kind of see what Sigo did because I don't think it was much.
Well, he's not on first page.
Not on first
It's
page,
probably
indeed.
that first shot that he did, and that's about that.
Look, Thomas, I got my birthday in damage. Aww.
Oh, wow.
Cute.
You're
Very
such a
cute.
kiddo, man.
Wow, that's rude.
A youngster.
That's rude. But
It's actually a positive, man. Come on.
counter push from eSuba was perfectly timed. I mean, RD fired, he was on reload, Unji wasn't in the fight. He might be top damage here, but really doesn't matter because he wasn't there when his team needed him the most.
Combat over Tomaszek first. There you go. Sigo actually connected at least 2 shells there.
Maybe he connected one in the secondary part of the fight when they were already pushed over the
That was
rails.
such a mess, we couldn't even notice. Enrico was the first one. How did
Storm
you
was
say
the
it? On
second.
chopping board.
Yeah, the first one on the chopping board. Storm was the second, actually. Or was Dani the first? I think Dani might have been
Danny actually
the
died
first.
first. Enrico
That-
was the one on the
I
left.
think
yeah.
Dani and then either Enrico or Storm. I think Storm and then Enrico.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't
They
matter.
died within 10 seconds, pretty much, all of them. The focus fire that eSuba did here was really good, but the positions of Gunrunners were not the best. They were on open, so, I mean, focusing them
It's
was
what
not a
happens
hard
with a
thing.
counter push. Unless you can take that first gun down very quickly and make it do no damage, you're always in trouble. You realistically, when they pushed over, you want to kill one guy, which they didn't. So then they lose Danny, who doesn't do all the shots. You lose the next guy, who does 1 or 2 shots. And after that, it's just kind of a snowball effect, really.
It's the worst moment to rotate Anji, when the art is in reload. Worst possible moment.
You could see Unji there, like you could see him realize, or they spotted him out, and he was like, "Oh boy," handbrake turn, trying to get back.
It was already too late.
Well, Mojo, let's take a look at the lineups for the possibly last round if eSuba continues in similar fashion.
eSuba playing here really aggressive in attack with Lorraine Artie. I would say this is maybe not as damaging Artie, but in this regard better. I7 also, it can be used on both sides to pressure. Maybe one cap better, but 1390 on Gunrunners, so there is no boosting potential there.
Bush?
Some passive spotting, but then again, eSuba will expect it when I see him. Also object 140.
Interesting stuff here between these two. And let's find out if eSuba can close it out, or we go into a tie-breaker as we head into the last round of steps here with eSuba currently on match point 43. Going to be attacking Gunrunners desperately, really desperately at this point, want to pick up this round on defense.
Gunrunners doing rather offensive play here down the trench, but it doesn't really matter because eSuba is not even interested in playing that side. They left only one spotter. Butchers are closing in to see are Gunrunners even coming on that side, and I guess I7 will approach and go on that C2 position eventually.
Gunrunners super aggressive here at this point. Unji, Ondrak, Storm rushing down that 0 line. Full speed. Tomasek here should be the one to spot them out. There we go. Stigo gets spotted already, but he doesn't seem to have spotted these 3 batch shots yet so far.
Okay, that TVP and Object 140 kind of makes sense now when you know they want to play so aggressive down, because while these guys are playing, they can just position for sniping on #1 cap based on 3090 spots. So they have a single shooter who can shoot blind or whatever, and TVP to protect him.
Unji here just picking up, trying to spot rotations coming out already from eSuba, so it's going to be 3v3 here if Gunrunners do decide to go for it.
Let's see what is eSuba planning to do. We've seen similar game they played against GoHard, and they rather play their rotations well. Caught GoHard pretty much pens down, but Gunrunners never crossed the middle, and they still have all the cards. I mean, they are, after all, defending.
Jukets here retaking this bush area, which allows him to spot the 0-9. He actually spots out to 140, so some info gained here. They saw Sigo over there. Now they see the 140 as well.
It must be Tomaszek that spotted him, actually.
Yes, yes, yes indeed.
It's a nice position here.
Enrico here won't get spotted unless they move towards C6, I think, if it's remembered. Might be able to spot him from A5, not 100% sure on that. But they can definitely spot him from C7, C6. You just drive a Batchat in those bushes.
Yeah, but they will spot him from the corner. And in this lineup, unless a Batchat is climbed up, there is no one who can actually shoot down on a guy behind the rail. And then 3090 must run away, 100%. This is the next logical step that eSuba should actually take. Once there is no rotation here coming in from Gunrunners, they should pull their forces back, hide Artie better, and pressure toward A5. Position, clear it out to make sure that side of the battlefield is theirs, because they cannot really cross over and attack them anywhere else.
We know Combat would love to climb that hill. He can't right now.
No, he must clear all positions first.
Talking about the rotation, Mojo. There we go. All 3 Batchats pulling back now.
Yeah, this is a logical spot, but so much time passed that even Gunrunners came back. So, yeah, we can debate this is right or this is wrong, but of course, when you are playing a match, actually time goes a bit differently. Much faster than it appears to us.
Remember what I said about Froley playing Artie?
Remind me.
It said I think he was the one playing it against Gohard. That's why I remember.
Him and Combat both played it.
Ooh, okay. So this, Mojo, explain this to the maybe newer people here. What is happening?
So they will try to boost the tank on this B1 position and upwards, but he needs some kind of speed booster from these guys. So that's why they're doing it. He cannot do it solo. And let's see. Op. I think they did it.
Yep, nice form there from the boys from eSuba. Successful from the first time. Very impressive there.
Hard climb also.
Yep.
We've seen multiple teams actually fail something like this in attempts, giving up even after 2 attempts, not even 1. But eSuba, well trained, did it from the first. This will give quite a lot of advantage to them now because they can do several things from that position. But the best is whenever Gunrunners rotate over the open field or from the back, they will have a really superior position shooting from up there.
Well, Overu spotted out Enrico, so I don't think Enrico can go back and take his passive position. So that's a big thing here for the boys from eSuba who have now started capturing the base. 1 minute 40 seconds left on that one. Just Andrew in it for now. Do keep in mind they can choose to boost this cap at any point in time.
And if it's boosted, it will be boosted by artillery piece probably, who will make a sort of a shield for this budget. Because in real engagement, when they start fighting for the cap, artillery will be the least useful tank there. And the bulkiest one, so best one to protect. To use as a protector, I mean.
Yeah, of course. He will drive in front of the Batras, try to shield them from any damage coming out. Danny now getting spotted out there as well, takes a shot on his TVP. 1 minute left on the cap here. And who's going to make the play, boys? Who are going to send? Probably Enrico in the 3090 as an RD shell comes out, does not connect. Enrico is now going, gets spotted. Let's see if they can take him down. Cap gets instantly cancelled. Enrico gets instantly removed as well. And now with 4 minutes and 14 seconds left, Andrew just casually drives back onto the cap like nothing even happened.
This is really impressive how fast they shot off the 1390 and the cap. They have time to rest at the cap several times there. They have 2 people in it now.
Yeah, they can let the next tank come from Gunrunners and then choose to shield it with Artie. And Gunrunners in a bad position here. Danny, don't know if he expects combat, and he doesn't. First shot coming out already. The second combat has clear vision on him. Third shot coming out. Combat, one more. Can he finish off the TVP? Just about misses. Danny surviving on a slither of health here. 136 remaining. 26 seconds left now. 2 guys on the cap. Mojo.
It would be a great time for Arctic to go in a cap now, but they decided to still fight it off because they can rest it and trigger the cap again. They do have the time for it, but I believe next time they will actually have to use that RT piece. Now, it was a good decision to reset the cap now and not fight for it because, as we know, Bachat up is on reload. He missed the last shell on TVP. They have enough time. They will just wait for his reload and they will do all over again. Now, Stigo here is in position we've seen many times. Yukes was there. He was bouncing hell of a lot of shells, but there is a rotation coming in.
Indeed, rotation coming out here from eSuba. They're going to fight Mojo, it looks like, as they're pushing 3 Batras across the A line. Chukets soon to follow, I guess. Combat might have some shots onto Sigo, and this could catch this 113 off guard.
This is catching Gunrunners off guard completely. I mean, I don't even think they have a ready response for something like this.
Overus here getting kind of outplayed even by Sigo, but if eSuba realized there's no tanks here from Gunrunners, this 113 won't last long.
Overus can get shot like, I believe, Annihilator played the I7 there and he got wrecked, but there you go. They'll just clip him out. They will maybe pick up some damage for it.
3 bounces coming out to finally some connections to 1 miss there from Tomasek, and they need to kill this 113. Danny actually goes down towards Overus. A great shot there, but Pratelicek trading very badly in the meantime. He gets picked up by the boys from Gunrunners, and this is throwing away tanks for no reason at this point. What had to be an easy kill turned out into a bad trade.
This is rather bad because they're open for rotation now. The cap is going on again. But there is 2 people in it, and they finally realized they have to place the RT there. Still, there is more than enough time to either finish the cap or kill entire team of Gunrunners, because Gunrunners do need time to approach. Ooh, dead.
Seago
Seago gone.
goes down towards Jukets, but Unji, Storm pushing down the middle road, might be able to catch out that bat shot if they're quick. Storm only having 2 shells available though. There we go. Unji now pushing forward. Jukets in trouble. Unji takes a big shot though from the I-7. Storm actually doesn't have any more ammunition left. Neither does Jukets, but the cap needs to be reset at this point as Storm takes even more damage. Ondrex actually kills Froly on the cap, so that's that pressure gone. Gunrunners, they can still do it at this point, but they need to get out. They need to run.
63 seconds there. Juket is down, so he will not reload, but Andrew and Tomaszek are there with the shells. Now, the biggest problem is Overust, I think, running away. No? Was it Ondrex?
Ondrex, do keep in mind, once the cap hits 40 seconds, there is no more opportunity to cap, no matter how many tanks you have on it. 3 seconds before that timer is gone. That's not happening anymore. I don't think they can get back on time. Now, Ondrex and Martin, they just need to survive. 35 seconds left to bring it to tiebreaker. If eSuba can find them on time, it will be their match, but I don't think they can cap. I think cap's out of the window. They tried to drive back to the cap, and that was a mistake.
If they drove to the cap immediately, they will have
Yes.
time. Now, they actually are losing the round by that misplay on 1-1-3. If you remember, they will have no time enough to finish this off.
Tomasek
Ondrex
is not
can't
even
defend
reloaded
himself.
at this point. He doesn't know that Ondrex only has 2 shells left. Tomasek can't go for the play here. Ondrex speaks out, makes him a one-shot. 5 seconds left, 4 seconds left, 3 seconds left. It doesn't even matter as Martin is fairly safe. There we go. Time's out. Time's over. 4-4. And what a magnificent throw from eSuba.
I mean, they completely had match in their hands. I really do not understand. Why didn't you put that
Miscommunication?
RT in the cap like 3 minutes before that?
Miscommunication, perhaps, that they didn't drive back to the cap quickly enough. Tried to go make some kills.
Not only that, like after they resetted the cap and they had 2 budgets in, fine. They had a chance to come back then instead of to push on 1-1-3. They had a chance to put RT in a cap and just sacrifice him. He's the best for that in that part of the game. Why would you need him else? He can get shot as much as they want. They can cap, and that's it. If someone comes, you can always counter-attack.
They did put RD at one point.
Yeah, but it was too late.
And Protelicek driving over the crossing, dying.
No, just nonsense. Not killing that 1-1-3. If they
They saw pretty much a completely clear 9-0 line, and they decided to peek on the one spot where the 1-1-3 was still hold down for them.
Yes, but even when they were shooting him, I saw a couple of guys actually completely missing a tank. They were like hitting a hill, man. They were not even bouncing shells.
Well, they bounced the first 3, but rip eSuba. Let's take a look at the damage statistics before we start talking about the tiebreaker. Mojo Tomasek here, first in damage, but what does it matter?
Tomaszek combat. Then we have... So Gunrunners are defending on a ghost town, which will be our today's tiebreaker map.
Yep, and I don't know. I think this is what I thought this last round was very, very, very heavily in favor of eSuba because the way they played it was very well done. A little bit slow at points, but still. Is now, I think Gunrunners has it in tiebreaker. Really do believe so. I mean, this round eSuba completely outplayed them, and they just threw it away.
Gunrunners did pick up their defense on Ghost Town, so I mean, eSuba didn't prove to play it very well in offense. Unless they change their play and don't play with those 2 Emils.
2 Emils. Well, Emils was from Gunrunners. Uh-huh. 100%. 100%.
57s were there.
eSuba was with
2 57s.
50 Bs.
Yeah, they had 2 57s pushing the corner. That was an attack.
Yeah, that was Gunrunners an attack. Wasn't it?
No.
Wait. Gunrunners in attack had double Emil. No, they had the 57s because it was Danny and Unji, and they bounced like half their shots on the 57. Yes, it was because eSuba on the attack played with 50 Bs. There was a bunch of 50 Bs. There was 3.
Yes.
There was 3 from Gunrunners, 2
Yes,
from...
yes,
you made me doubt myself there for a second. I was like processing. I was like, no. They had the 50 Bs and the 113 on the cap and the double 39 bat shot.
Well,
And
your
and
memory
double
serves you,
100.
man.
Man, you made me doubt myself at one
That's
point.
my job, bro.
But that was eSuba, and GRS pretty much held it semi-easily.
Yes, but still, here after this kind of throw, I don't know, does the eSuba have enough time to recover?
I don't know. That last round really was theirs. I mean,
It was theirs by far. Just so much hesitation to close it.
even when they were going to kill Unji, I mean, they should not just driven back to the cap with anybody that's reloading. Just don't understand.
Yeah, this is the situation where they actually got a really nice lead. But this moment when Pratelicek's driver, this is not the first time that Pratelicek is caught off on some really strange position.
This is the point already where, you know, why are you still chasing Storm? Overus should already be driving back towards the cap. Combat should already be on the cap. Because obviously it works like this, right? If there's 0-0-40 left and you have no 3 tanks in the cap, there's no chance to cap. It's just how much it takes with 3 tanks. Now if Combat came off that climb earlier, just put itself on there, that gives them more time for the second.
It's a lot of misplay, but I believe when players are nervous, they kind of lose the track of the timer sometimes.
Well,
even we do sometimes, and we are not in their seats.
Labet, that was steps. Let's take a look at the lineups for our tiebreaker round on Ghost Town.
Gunrunners playing defense there with 2 E100s, 50Bs. Are you, well?
Same, except for they changed 150B to...
Rather similar lineup here.
150B to 113.
Only eSuba has 2 Bachat APs that can be used to rather quickly trigger the cap.
So I think eSuba have the same lineup here as they had on the attack. They had the 113. Frolly was playing a double 39, double 50B, double E100. That's the same. Gunrunners had double E100, 350Bs, and a Bachat, so they have 113.
You sure they had 2 E100s there in
Yes.
attack eSuba?
Yeah, because they wrecked the first E100 from Gunrunners. Well,
Yes.
Mojo, while you think about that one, let's jump into our final map here, the tiebreaker between Gunrunners and eSuba. Goes down. Tiebreaker between Gunrunners and eSuba, 4-4. Obviously, as Gunrunners going to be taking on the defense, eSuba taking on the attack. Same lineup from eSuba, different start though.
I believe both teams should just honestly look a bit more for a fight with this kind of lineup. When you pressure a cap, you expose yourself far too much. And especially eSuba, unless they pressure the cap with tier 9 Bachas, they're not really set up for that. Tomaszek already taking some damage while spotting.
Some nice shots coming out there. Well, nice shot from Enrico in the 113, so that pick paying off so far. Now Tomaszek will regret that one. Combat here just in the bush, trying to spot out anything, but what does eSuba do with their lineup? Because they went to the different side this time.
They really tried to catch off tank in a corner where Unji went, but he was far too careful for it and he ran away. Instantly he felt something is wrong. For one, they were not spotted on other side. For two, he already spotted one heavy and he knew if he lingered there about a second more, he's gonna get wrecked.
Unji smartly backing off as eSuba takes control over the F2K line. Lots of tanks spotted here from eSuba. Not that many from GRS though. So good info here. Nice shot from Ondex into Jukets. Tracks him as well.
He might pick up even more.
Nice damage there. 2 shots.
He was hesitating to use repair kit. He thought he will bounce a shell and that's why he picked up another. Now, in this part of the game, it really doesn't look important, but if you have like 1k HP advantage in a start for nothing, it can actually turn the tide of the game in some moment completely. eSuba at the moment has only one way to play this game, and it's honestly to pressure over the 2 cap.
Yeah, they have to somehow put those E100s into the cap. Or they're going to pressure with a 113 over here.
That's rather risky. I mean, he has no cooldown, and if he ends up there alone, no one can really help him. They can actually push him. Like 1 or 2 clippers, even Sigo sniping him from up, and Unji pushing him, they can just kill him.
If he pushes forward, he's going to be in trouble for sure, because, like you said, Sigo there in the back line should be able to connect the shots even onto that 113. So I don't think he's going to be going for that one, or he is. He's moving forwards.
He's actually moving forward, and he's picking up a reinforcement. Rather interesting play here coming in. I don't know will it actually pay off, but even if it does, all the Gunrunners have to do if they don't want to push him is to rotate a bit on the other side of the city, and they will still have one cap behind them, and they will be able to pressure another flank of eSuba if they choose so.
A lot of time down here already. 3 minutes almost at this point as Froly tries to make a blind shot, but Unji not going to get caught out there. Obviously, the heavy tank doesn't spot a bad shot that easily.
Okay, they cleared out the side. I'm interested now, is the boost on AA still working or it's patched?
I think it's still working.
I think Stigo is trying to climb there. I would really like to see it. There we go. Yes, he is. And he's still working. There's some notifications that some of the boosts on ghost towns will be nerfed. This is one of them. But so far it's still working. We've seen in last season, Oops was successfully using it in 1 or 2 games.
Sigo taking that position now. Unji gets spotted out and eSuba rotating. Don't think they expect Sigo in that position.
Sigo can be really annoying there. Yes, he doesn't have the biggest gun in the game, but he can spot them from far away, and he can be that pestering damage that will DPM you over the time and maybe even finish off some tanks. So pressing this side at this moment for eSuba, I really hope they're actually thinking about it first. And Sigo, all he has to do is to make sure he's not wrecked by some careless peeking.
He spotted out Tomasek now. Sigo might connect the shot.
Even a high alpha.
262 onto Tomasek. The tank you really don't want to take any more damage on, as he was very low already. This needs to make eSuba think a little bit about what their next move's going to be.
So almost 1500 HP advantage here for Gunrunners, and they're pretty much unscratched. So far, Gunrunners playing steadily and smart. There is 5 minutes and 30 till the end. They are defenders, so they don't really have to do anything except wait out eSuba. What will eSuba do? Usually we would say that Ghost Town is a little more attackers map than defenders. That was how it was in the last season. Honestly, in this one, a bit different. Attackers actually win much more, 67%.
Well, the stats are in favor of eSuba, but so far the HP pool is not. Froly now pushing even further, even more aggressive down that 1-2 lane, and there's actually nobody there to punish him for crossing like that. So eSuba gaining some map control here. Actually, Froly keeps going. He needs to be careful there. Obviously, he's not pulled down the entire way. He has a nice position here, and he's forced Gunrunners to make a rotation themselves. And nice shot there from Tomasek.
Tomasek is there in the corner sniping, returning some damage he took initially. But now, if honestly Anji pushes him and regains that corner for them, they have a huge advantage in position.
He actually penetrated Danny, who wasn't spotted in that E100. That's impressive.
Wow.
That is indeed very, very, very impressive.
I'm
But
sure
now,
Dani is very happy about it.
huh?
I'm sure Dani is very happy about it.
Sure, he's loving it right now, but now Tomasek needs to run. Unji actually connects that shot, so nicely done there from that bad shot. But now the rotation's coming out, and somehow I feel Storm is in deep, deep trouble here. There's 3 tanks coming on his side. He hasn't seen any of them.
What is Combat doing there? He tried to brawl with heavies with that tier 9 Bacha. That's not really the best decision always, but never mind. Even hundreds are gathering up and pushing here in the corner. I think Storm is kind of sniffing out the danger is coming.
He did sniff it out, but is it enough as he connects onto Froly and they connect back? Minus 2.4 already. That E100 should go down. Pratelicic picks it up, but Froly trades in the meantime. Minus 1.6. That was not good stuff either. Overus now with Tomasek in that middle area, and eSuba, this HP disadvantage they had is fading at this point. Gunrunners forced to run away.
Gunrunners lost all the advantage they have, but still, the HP they have is still more focused on their tanks, while you have Froly and Tomasek on really low HP from eSuba. They are the weaklings of their team, and they need to use other tanks now as point men, like Overus and Yukets. Overus, luckily for him, had a medic, so he could repair this gunner. It would be a huge problem in this part of the game if he couldn't aim well.
Tomasek taking even more damage. He's down to 111 HP, 111 remaining at this point. Froly, ammo racked as well, 121 for him. He's in a 113, not a 121 obviously, but eSuba trading badly at this point. Danny lining up the shot against Jukets here, does not connect in Jukets. Pick him up in return. No, another bounce here coming out as Andrew and Enrico are trading as well in the meantime, and eSuba seems to be surrounding the boys from Gunrunners here. Danny goes down. Combat soon to follow from the side from eSuba, but you could kind of see here eSuba is starting to take the lead, and they have those big guns, they have those E100s left that can pump out the damage, as Ondrax is kind of stuck on that corner as well. Juket comes around the corner against Enrico, does connect as Overus picks up Ondrax. Froly should be finishing Enrico here. No, they both bounced on each other, and it's not quite over just yet. It's a 4v5 here with 1 minute and 56 seconds left.
Doesn't look at a moment that good, honestly, for eSuba. Yes, they have a bit more of the guns, but Gunrunners, they're in a corner defending each other, and let's not forget, Sigo is on that upper mountain. So they have to pressure the middle, they have to pressure the cap. Lucky boy!
Unji taking a non-connection there onto their back, and Jukets actually taking damage in his E100 from Martin, from Sigo, and this is the time where Sigo needs to get off of that climb and get into the fight. Another connection here from Sigo onto the back of the E100.
14 seconds.
13 seconds indeed left on the cap here. It's all onto Unji at this point, as he has to be the savior for his team. Pratelicek is going to be trying to stop him. He's going to ram him, so Unji can't get to the fight. I think Martin and Sigo, they're too long. It's too gone. It is going to be eSuba to pick it up in the end.
What a sellout again. Strange games here we are watching sometimes, guys. This Ghost Town is definitely a map you do not want to draw out to these last seconds. We've seen Kazna and Ding game, and even that one ended up on like a one shot missed by Breakneck and getting pretty much snapshotted by E100. This one game here,